Welcome to Steno Compendium. Get ready for the dictation. 5 seconds. Mr. Deputy Chairman, Sir, our beloved President, in his address to members of Parliament on 17 February, has given a very comprehensive and realistic picture of India and India's relations with the outside world. It is a matter of gratification indeed that we have started coming out of the economic stagnation which bedeviled the nation for the last couple of years. More than 70% of the people are engaged in agriculture. Nearly 50% of our income comes from agriculture. That being so, it is but natural that we have to concentrate on agriculture and make conscious efforts to increase our output. Our agricultural production has more than doubled in the last 2 decades. From a total production of 50 million tons when we achieved independence, food grains production has gone up to 1000 million tons. In spite of many scientific and technological developments, agriculture still has to depend to a large extent on the monsoons. No scientific method has yet been evolved to control rains, but efforts at rain making should continue. Even so, India had faced a cycle of adverse monsoons over the last few years. As a result, production in 2002-3 went down to 900 million tons. There was unprecedented and widespread drought conditions throughout the major part of India. In the face of these adverse conditions, we have braved the difficulties with courage and fortitude. During 2003-4, the total rice production stood at around 300 million tons. This is not an insignificant achievement. Other cash crops like jute, cotton, and sugarcane had also shown significant improvement. India is likely to have a total jute crop of 150 lakh tons. Cotton production will touch an all time record of nearly 200 lakh bales. Sugar output is put at 300 lakh tons, out of which 100 lakh tons is exported. These are significant pointers to a meaningful policy being followed by the government. Thanks to the realization and strengthening of the public distribution system, India has been able to look after the minimum needs of the most vulnerable sections. The public distribution system needs nearly 10 million tons of food grains annually. The government is confident of meeting this obligation without much difficulty. Plans for investments in irrigation projects, fertilizer plants, and hydel projects should be pushed on war footing. Many irrigation projects are pending clearance from the center because of river water disputes that are existing between the states. Recently, a silver lining was seen in the sky with the three chief ministers of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala agreeing in principle to constitute the Kaveri River Valley Authority to settle the allocation of water for each state. Unfortunately, it has not borne fruit. I would again urge the ministers for agriculture and irrigation to request the chief ministers again to sit at the table and agree to constitute the Kaveri River Valley Authority so these disputes can be solved once and for all. There are similar river water disputes in other areas. For example, with regard to sharing of Narmada waters, there is a dispute between Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. I would urge that all these river water disputes should be frozen and river valley authorities should be set up once and for all to settle the allocation of water and also to go ahead with the construction of irrigation projects. Coming to industry, sir, we all know that the growth rate of industry was almost zero in 2003-4. Thanks to progressive policies and vigorous implementation of those policies, the growth rate now is 3.5%. With efforts to ensure fuller utilization of capacity and assurance to supply scarce industrial raw materials at international prices, it is possible that the current year may turn out a better picture for industry. The kingpin of industrial growth lies in coal, steel, and power. Coal production, which was 80 million tons last year, has improved to 90 million tons by now. There is no longer any shortage of steel. Thermal power has gone up by 14%, and hydropower in DVC, as has already been stated by the president, has gone up by 34%. There is still power shortage in many states of India, particularly in Tamil Nadu and to some extent in Karnataka, Haryana, and Punjab. So the power projects should be given top priority, and the power project of Kalindi, for which the foundation was laid by our beloved Prime Minister, should be taken up with speed and completed as early as possible. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, you are aware that we had to spend more for import of oil because of the rise in price of oil. It is encouraging to find that we have struck oil offshore in Bombay High, and it is expected that we will be able to produce 100 million tons of oil from Bombay High. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, the most dramatic event of the last year and perhaps the most significant in the history of free India was the underground nuclear explosion. The President's address has taken due note of this event, and the President has rightly congratulated our nuclear scientists and engineers on this important achievement. However, a serious omission in the President's address is that he made no mention of the hundreds of other scientists who are working in equally important fields such as agriculture and fisheries, particularly this year when agriculture has become the whole pivot of our national progress. I would have liked the President to have made at least a mention of these dedicated scientists and technologists who have been doing brilliant work for the development of our countryside. Whenever one visits an agricultural research institute in any part of the country, one is impressed by the dedication and energy of our young scientists engaged in doing the most advanced research in agriculture, dairy, fisheries, soil research, reclamation of desert areas, forestry, all of which are crucial to our development. At the same time, one gathers the impression that there is a great deal of frustration in our scientists today on account of lack of encouragement and the poor conditions in which they often have to work. Atomic scientists are perhaps somewhat better looked after than the other scientists, but on the whole, we cannot say that we have treated our scientists very well. Even today, after all the advance we have made in science, I feel that our scientists have not received the appreciation that they deserve. The majority of them are still treated just like functionaries in a government department. Poor salary, indiscriminate transfers, promotion of people merely according to seniority and not on the basis of merit or special experience. These are the complaints that I have heard from scientists whenever I visited any of our leading scientific institutions. I suggest, sir, that the time has come when we should not only raise the prestige of our scientists community but also substantially improve their material rewards and conditions of work. When I say material rewards, I do not mean just salary. More important is the kind of working and living conditions we provide for the scientists, how far we can reduce their domestic worries so that they can concentrate on their work. It should not be beyond the means of our government to provide our scientists cheap housing, special educational facilities for their children, concessional travel facilities, and so on. So, in almost every socialist country, particularly in the Soviet Union, scientists are treated as the cream of the society. In India, if we look around, who are the elite of our society? Contractors, exporters, advertising executives, and film stars. When you think that after all, what our exporters and businessmen sell are largely the products of our brilliant researchers, it seems great injustice that those who sell the products should get most of the benefit and very little goes to those who have developed the products. Therefore, sir, it all comes down to the question of the kind of values which we have to set in our society. Unless we make a radical change in our system of values and priorities, our progress will continue to be lopsided and haphazard as it has been in recent years.